Good morning. It is September 27th, and yes, it is cold. That was my birthday you just saw there. And I'm out here, and guys, it is a chilly one this morning. I woke up to 45 degrees. When I looked at my phone, the turkeys are ready to come out. But my hubby gets up early for work, and he texted me this morning and said you probably can see my break, but he texted me this morning and said there was frost on my windows when I went out to the vehicle this morning. And so guys, this is the time of the year that I'm not ready for, because I know I'm not ready to bring my plants in that I'm going to be overwintering. As you can see over here, I still need some of that daylight and that sunshine to ripen these fruits, because I am growing tropicals. I have an avocado here. I have these brown select satsuma. It's starting to yellow a little bit. I have these limes right here. I have lemons. And then I have some tomatoes. You can see them. They look cold. Don't they look cold? Look at that coating on it. They look cold. Look at these peppers. I have to get these ripened. And so I'm gonna just have to bring them in. I'm gonna have to start bringing them in. I have passion fruit growing, all sorts of things. And I don't want us to go into a freeze. My aloe, all that stuff, my mango, my soursop. I have a lot of tropical stuff going on here. And so I want to bring it indoors and be able to save them from this cold, because you just never know what can happen. And from my experience, I've lost enough that I know better to bring them in. When my instinct tell me to take action, then that's what I normally do. But I'm gonna just take you this morning with me to do my morning chores, so you can see what's going on here with the chickens and the turkeys. I did clean up a little bit last night, but I didn't remove this. They're probably gonna scratch through it. And I come out here and I clean every night, mostly every night. I rake up their spot. Let me just grab them a treat. And all this is some greens that I have here as a treat for them, with some mealworms and some oyster shells. And I give that to them because they're young and they're at point of lay, but also just to distract them from pecking at each other. So that will keep them busy, and as they establish the pecking order, because I do have some really shy docile varieties layers in here at this point, and so I got to set them up in a way to prevent any type of bullying, especially with the smaller birds, because there are some that grow bigger, but they are all the same age. They grow bigger in body weight, and I don't want the smaller birds to be bullied and pecked on, because they will take them out. I've seen it before. It has happened before. And so I pay attention to that. So I just do whatever I can to keep them busy. I allow them to free range when I can spend a lot of time with them. And when I say free range, I mean outside of this outdoor run that's enclosed here. So that, helps them establish the pecking order, and then the bullying is almost non existent. So they're good for the day. They have their water and their feet set up. I refilled all that last night already. They have a clean outdoor enclosed run here, and they're pecking and distracted from the greens that I just put in there for them. Now I'm gonna head on over to the turkeys, and I am gonna let them out of their coop. They've been in there all night, and I'm pretty sure they're ready to come out. Later on in the day today, I'll have them free range out of their enclosure, and that's when I can spend more time with them. The sun would be out, it would be warmer, and they can get to frolic around the yard for quite a bit of time. They enjoy that. And these turkeys are actually ready for harvesting. I haven't had the time yet to start harvesting them, and we may just harvest probably about half of them. I have 6 of them, so maybe one weekend we'll do 3, and the following weekend we'll do the other 3, because we like to, have the meat nice and fresh and handled properly. And so we would smoke some, or we would grind it, because I do have a meat grinder. We would vacuum seal it, label it, and put them away the right way. So we don't take on too much at one time, because making sure that this meat stays clean and healthy and there's no introduction of any type of bacteria is our number one goal and our number one priority, to make sure that everybody stays safe. All right, now I am gonna put that ramp in place, because what we do is we open the outer door every morning and I push the inner door in. In the hot summers, if they're in there and I can't free range them when they're younger, because usually I would leave them in there when they're younger. When they're old enough, I'll let them come out and free range. But that door is there for the younger birds when they're not grown enough, so that they'll get enough ventilation, they can see outside, they can get some sunlight and all that good stuff. So I'm going to push that door back, and I'm just going to screw this wooden block in place, so that way the door does not close in on them. Whether they want to go in and out, they have that option to do so. Make sure that door is just not in the way. Now I'm going to put this ladder in place, and I'm going to put the ramp on the ladder, and I'm also going to screw that in place so that they will have a means of, like a bridge, to get from the coop onto that ground space right there. It helps a bit, and they do use it. I don't want them to hurt a wing or a toenail when trying to get out, if you know what I mean. I just don't want them to get hurt. Not that I don't think they're capable of doing it, but because I just feel like they're heavy birds, so I'd rather put something in place so they're safe and they can get out from the coop. They can transfer from the coop to that ground space where they can free range safely. It's just a small area, and I didn't rig this up last night, so I'm just gonna grab the rig real quick while they take their time and step out here and rig it up real quick and get all that mess out the way, because of course they poop a lot. So I'll just scrape that out of the way. And I do this every day. Believe it or not, I do it every day, because these birds are temporary birds. They're meat birds, and I'm raising them just for meat. I've had them for about 4.5 months now. I don't let them go past 6 months. I like harvesting them between 4 months and 5 months. The meat is nice and soft and tender, and it's also delicious. Alright, so let's get to cleaning this up so I can get out of their way so they can be out here enjoying themselves. And if you notice on the ramp, on the wooden ramp, there are some cross pieces on there, and those are there because it has been raining so much, and I noticed that when they try to get out of the coop and they're using that ramp, they're like literally skating down, and there's nothing to stop their fall or to block them. So those crossbars are right there to help them maneuver their way. Well, that was not graceful at all. That's not how you use the ramp. But they use that crossbars especially for when it's wet from the rain. So they can see that. That's a perfect demonstration of how they should be using the ramp, not the way that first bird slid down out of the coop. Sometimes they stay on the ramp and they will fly over into my garden and eat my greens. So I'm going to grab some greens and throw it to them. That way they don't get tempted to do a flyover. I'm gonna look already excited for it. So I'm gonna give them some sassafras, and they free range on that. When I'm free ranging them, they peck on the sassafras, and I would give them also some ginger leaves. They enjoy that also. But they have their food in there in the coop. Take your time. You have enough space to get some. Hurry up. He said to move out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way so you can get some. Come on. Really. Getting all excited for some greens. Look at them. But look how quick they're coming up because there's greens in there. They have their food and their water in the coop that they can feed on if they need it. It's not as hot out anymore, but I still put water in that little bucket over there. They may or may not fly over and get into my garden, so I pay attention to them. If they would do a number on your garden, they'll destroy it. Because you see them big old feet on them birds, they are heavy birds, and they would destroy. Even if they don't eat everything up, and you can see them eating, munching on the greens that I just put in there for them. Even if they don't eat everything up, they just walk through and trample everything in your garden. They're really destructive if you allow them to be. But guys, I gotta get this is my Barbados cherry. I gotta put this indoors. My dragon fruit, I gotta harvest these cucumbers. They've been giving me fruit all season long. That's a good one. But yeah. I harvested the last of my watermelons yesterday. I have to, you know what? Let me call it. 'Cause these are already bug damage. I'm just gonna throw some of these collards for them. They'll enjoy that too. Here, you guys can share. Don't get too excited. Relax. Because you get excited, start flapping your wings, and next thing you know, you're hovering over my damn garden. So they enjoy the greens too. I gotta put water in their bucket. There's just a little bit left. But yeah, I was able to harvest my last watermelon yesterday. I have some pumpkins. I'm not worried about those. I'm pretty sure they could take some cold weather. I have, I believe, a cantaloupe still that I'm gonna be harvesting today because I was waiting for it to ripen a little bit on the vine. But since it's been so rainy, it's been rainy, guys, like crazy rainy. It's been so rainy, so I left it to go a little bit longer. I'm gonna cheese. I don't see any roots coming out yet, but I have tried to my little experiment here on all of these fruit trees. So that's what my intention is to do, so I can get the most out of my growing space here. I just think it makes a lot more sense. And what is this? This is some type of mushroom, fungus, whatever you want to call it. And I dare not touch it with my hand. Oh, that looks wrong. So wrong. What is it? Oh my gosh. I hope it's not toxic. But look at it, guys. Oh my gosh. That's just wrong. And I have had different types of fungus growing in my wood chips all year long because of all that moisture that we've been having from the rain. I've never seen so much different types of fungus before. I've been getting mushrooms or fungus, whatever you want to call it, all year long. I still have a lot of raspberries that need time to be ripened, guys. This is September and the frost is already trying to step in here. And I have a lot of harvesting to do still. I can still save a lot of food. So it's busy time for me and I gotta be out here continuously harvesting. I'm just gonna check on this moringa squash. It's sitting on its face. It did that by itself. But the tendril is not yet dried out. But there's a root right there that it's getting nutrients from the soil through. But this is very cold to the touch, like really cold, like it's in a refrigerator. There's another one here. The tendril is just about starting to yellow a little bit. Yeah. I have green tomatoes on the tree still. I have lots of peppers. This is my Grenadian seasoning pepper. It looks similar to habanero pepper if you're familiar with it. But I'm waiting. I'm going to protect this plant from the frost. I'm going to have to protect it during the nighttime because I want it to ripen on the tree because I want to be able to save some seeds. And it's a really prolific bearer. I have more herbs that I need to harvest. These chickens are active this morning. They are loud. They are starting to lay for the day. But even if I don't get to harvest all of my herbs, because I've harvested so much since the spring. Good morning. That was my daughter leaving for work. But yeah, I got beautiful things still going on in my garden. This pigeon peas here, look, nothing's going on. I planted it in ground. There's not enough time. It looks droopy. I think the cold hit it. Last night, 40 degrees was definitely too low for it. But I did cut the top of it off because it's not doing anything. And that was just to minimize some of the energy from going to the top of the plant and from it growing more, using up that energy to grow more. And maybe try to have it send out at least some flowers and, you know, see what happens with it. It was just my experiment. So there it is, my pigeon peas. My sorrels are not doing anything, and these were seeds that I purchased from Haas Tools, and it said 90 days on it, but it's way past 90 days. I'm not seeing any budding. Look how tall they are, but still nothing. And I have at least 10 of these plants. These here also, this is a white sorrel. Nothing's going on with it. And this white sorrel is from back home, but nothing's really going on with it. It feels really cold to the touch, and I don't think that this sorrel tree is liking this type of temperature. And this one here also is from Grenada. Look how tall it is. It's taller than the fencing right here. Much taller than the fencing. It's nice and wide. Really beautiful looking plant, but nothing as yet. Nothing at all. And I don't think that we have enough time. Look how thick and healthy the stem is. Really beautiful tree. But I'll be using the leaves because I can dry it and make teas with it. So I have my work cut out for me this week, guys. I've been pulling up all the vines, just chop and drop. I'll gather them eventually and put them just on one pile and compost all of this stuff here. I'm still harvesting flowers. I left this here yesterday because there's so much to harvest. I'm waiting for my peppers to ripen on the tree. I did get seeds already from them, and I can harvest them green and use them, but I'd rather have them, even with a little blush, I'd rather have them reach full maturity. There's this butterfly pea looking beautiful. But yeah, that's what's going on in my garden. This tomatillo plant is still doing the most. Produce so much underground. It looks like wastage, but it goes back to the soil. This big boy here is getting ready to be harvested. I think I'm gonna harvest it pretty soon. Oh yeah. There's still a lot going on in my garden, guys, and I don't have that time. I don't have the luxury of time. What a shame. Still have lots of pepper on the plant. I did gather seeds, but too much seed is never enough. This is starting to ripen, and this, yeah, I want this to actually ripe on the plant. It's blushing, but we need some sun and some warmer nights. Oh geez, look at these raspberry bushes. I gotta cut these back. It's just too much, way too much. And all the rains we've been having, look at that, they just rot on the plant. I can't harvest them quick enough. I just can't keep up with it. But this pepper right here is a Mad Hatter pepper. It's just unique looking. But yeah, guys, this is it for now. Thank you for coming into my garden with me this morning so I can give you a quick fall update. I know it's a bit of a longer video. Oh, I have a surprise. I have a pleasant surprise right here. This okra is ready to be harvested. See? Nice and tender. I was able to break the tip off. And yes, I ate it. This is my bitter melon. Not doing anything but just giving me vine and flowers. It's too late in the season. These beans, I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna save this to plant in the future. And I have all sorts of beautiful things going on in my garden still, while I have no time left in the season. Even the blackberries are rotting on the plant. Gee, man. They're not even coming to, see that? They're not even ripening before they can spoil. It's just so much rain. This ground cherry, the cold is gonna have the better of it. I gotta remove it from my carrot bed here. This is my fall carrot that I planted in this bed. I gotta thin them out at some point. Yeah. Look at that. That pepper just rotted on the plant. Why? That's ridiculous. I think it's just the water. It's just so much water, man. My loofah is not going to produce anything. But I have a plan for you next year, buddy. The vine looks good and there's a lot of flowers, but see that? And young loofah's coming out. But it's not spaghetti squash left to harvest. It's just not enough time. These vines are still throwing out pumpkins. And I have to get to my sweet potatoes. I haven't harvested any of that as yet. I have to harvest edibles. I have to harvest corn. I'm just gonna plow through here. Look at that. The plant actually wants to bear fruit, but the weather does not. I have another pumpkin here. I have a few of them right here. I cut back and there are different varieties. I cut back the leaves so it can get some sunlight. A rabbit or something was trying to get in here, I'm sure. Okay, it feels fine. Not soft at all. And I went through and I pruned up all of these eggplants, maybe to see if we would have more time to get these bloom turned into fruits, and they're doing just that. I even pruned all the okras right there. I pulled up all these big bushes here, these marigold bushes that were covering some of the plants that I had in my garden. I have a lot of herbs that I know are going to come back. My toothache, yellow toothache plant right here. I have agastache growing all through here. I have a lot of different herbs and a lot still going on with my garden. I don't want to go longer with this video, but this is pretty much it, and a fall update of what's going on with my garden. So I'm going to be pruning a lot of things back and, you know, just trying to bring them in and up-pot them and overwinter them to get my garden season going right for next year. See all these that I have here, these peppers, they want to grow, guys. Look at all these blooms still on these pepper plants. And I have them in smaller pots, like 2-gallon pots. And I'm going to be bringing them in because they're newer plants. I also have my fall cucumber that's given me so much cucumbers already. I made pickles. I have these 2 pigeon peas in buckets, and I deliberately put it in buckets because I didn't think that, you know, they'll survive out here in the cold, so I can actually bring this indoors and experiment with it and see how far I can get. I don't know if there's any corn on these, but yeah, I got a lot of work to do, y'all. I got a lot of work to do, but it's good work. So I just want to say thank you for coming in. Thank you for all your support. And if you're not growing a garden, please start a garden. Nothing better than growing your own food. It tastes better and you get to practice your life skills. You don't want to wait till something happens to think about start growing your food. But all in all, just stay positive and keep growing. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again on the next video. Have a blessed and a wonderful day.